Hey everybody, so I'm going to go over how to use Google Classroom. If you've been using this for a while, and if you just notice, I just got a new request, you will start to see how to kind of better use it in part of this long distance learning. If you have not created a Google Classroom, you just press this button right here. You're going to hit create, type in the class name. You can fill out the rest of this. You can leave it blank. It's totally up to you. The only thing that you have to have is class name. If you are doing a class for each of your periods, you don't have to have one class for just the entire course. You can put that in the section number, or you can put it in here. If multiple teachers teach the same course, I would say at least in the section number or in the class name to put the teacher's name. So that way, as your admin are looking at these, or anyone like myself is trying to find certain ones, it's a lot easier because I can look and say, okay, this is the U.S. history, made by Mr. Risler versus the U.S. history made by Mr. Jones. So we're going to take a look at how you actually create assignments and upload things, and I'm going to use the long distancing platform to do that. So when you see in here is the code. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get the students enrolled in your course without having to need the code, because that will make it most efficient for you since your students are not sitting in front of you. This is how you can actually share something with your class. So you can actually just click in this. You can type, an announcement. You can add a file. If this is really just for like making an announcement, not for assigning homework. When you're done with that, you can also look, if you click in this, it will always give you an option to choose all your students or only a few of your students. So if you just wanted to send this message to Mr. Bartlett, you can click all students and just click Mr. Bartlett. And he's the only one who will see that when he logs into Google Classroom. The rest of them will have no idea that they're there. So if you're just trying to give, an FYI to one particular student or a shout out to one particular student, that's the way you can do that. So we're going to look at classwork. So if you take a look at the classwork section, and this and the people are going to be the sections you're going to use a lot. So you're really only going to look at stream, classwork, people. We're not going to do a lot with their grading platform because we have PowerSchool, and that's really where our grades are getting posted. If you create topics, all of your topics will be right here. So if I wanted to just go to screen thematic, I can click that topic and it'll take me down. This is also available in the student portion, so you can also just jump right down to an old topic if they're trying to find something. So to create an assignment, go into create. You're going to go either assignment, quiz assignment, question, material. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of reuse posts or create a topic. You don't necessarily need to create the topic until you are at, when you're actually creating the assignment itself. So I'm going to show you just a basic assignment. So you can do your typing in here. You can provide specific instructions. Usually mine are very simple. Complete the chat, Google document, or it might say something like upload a Google Doc with your response. Okay. Now over here, so this is for the long distance learning. If you teach multiple periods of the same class, you can click all your other periods for that class so that it will automatically create assignment for the rest of your class. You don't got to do quadruple the work. Again, all students, if I only wanted, Mr. Breen to have this assignment, I can just click Mr. Breen. He's the only one who's going to see it versus I have all of my students see it. That's useful for things like ameliorating, for your co-teachers to be able to go in and add in additional materials or support materials for their SPED kids or the ENL kids. The points, you can make it 5, you can make it, 50. It doesn't matter because we're putting it in by standards. That's when it's actually going to have a thing. This is the most important part, the due date. So we can set our due date to be anytime between now and, forever. So if I were to set this due date for today, and then I can set the time for 11:59. So at 11:59, the assignment is going to get locked. So the students cannot access going into this assignment and making changes. If you're going to have students submit work via Google Classroom, do not let them share the work with you, because when they share the work with you, they can then continue to edit the assignment while it's been shared in your folder, in your email. If they put it into Google Classroom, it becomes the teacher's assignment, and they don't have access to it unless they unsubmit the assignment and resubmit it, and you will get a notification if they try to do that. Here's the topic because I've already created, and you can also create a new topic. So I'm going to put this in for Google Classroom. This new function has just been added, so you could actually add a rubric. This is where you could add your success criteria. So you can literally click it open. You can either reuse one, you can import one from Google Sheets, or you can hit create. If you hit create, it'll take you to right in here. And you can do 1 point, what's the level title, what's the description. So here you can actually add your success criteria, and you just keep hitting add criteria for the number, from 5 to 1, or from 1 through 5, whatever that might be. So you can just add it right in there, click save, and rubric is added. Just discard it for right now. Here's what I want to show you here. So there's 2 options. The same options are in there for students, either add or create. If you hit create, it's going to give you the option between docs, slides, sheets, drawings, and forms. So that's where if you want to create something just matches this assignment, you can do that. If you already have the assignment created, then you can click add. You can go to your Google Drive. You can have the link. You can have a file, or you can have something from YouTube. If you have all of your files not in your Google Drive, but on your actual desktop, that's when you're going to go to file. And you might actually have to drag and drop, actually open up a file and drag it in here. So if you click file, you select it from your device, drag them over. So this you're going to use if you already have something created as an assignment. If you do not, or let's say what you have created is a Word or a PDF, the students can't edit, add it in here and then click create. Click docs. You can click whatever you want. It's automatically going to create it down here at the bottom for you. And it's going to open it up. Once my laptop loads. So it's going to open it up, and what I would recommend is that you use a Google Doc for students to submit their work. It will mean that they can actually type in it, as well as edit it when they need it, or go back to it if they need it. I would title it whatever the assignment is. And then here you can give yourself, very easy directions. You respond to all questions in the appropriate space. And then you can go through and hit. I like to use charts and tables for my students. So I would go to insert table, and I would add however many questions there are. And you can just drag this over, and I would just do number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be short answer. It can be multiple choice. They can literally just type in, the answer number 1 is A. And then 2 might be something short answer, so they're actually going to write out the answer. The reason I use tables is that tables will automatically expand with your writing. I did 1 and enter 5 times. That entering is going to actually continue to be up when the student goes back to typing. Okay, so now that I've done this, and if I go back to my classroom, you'll see that it's here. Okay, and if I refresh it, it should change the title of the document. So here means that the students can't see it yet, and that it's just as a draft right now. So I can just click this open, hit, click, edit, and then it takes me right back. Now, here's the most important part. This is the part that I love to do with my students. If you click Students Can View File, they will need to make a copy of it and then upload it, which adds extra steps. If you click this and you click Student Can Edit File, every student's going to edit the same exact document, which is not what you want unless you're doing that as like a cooperative group. If you click Make a Copy for each student, every student will have their own copy of this assignment. So they will not need to worry about what that looks like. They will have a copy that will automatically say long distance learning classwork. It'll have their name in front of it, and they're literally going to edit that document and just click turn in. That's it. That is all they're going to do. So that to me makes it the easiest to do any kind of worksheet, test, anything. Just make a copy for each student, and then that way they're off and they're doing it, and it's not a big deal. I'm going to save this just and assign it. It does not do it all. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of the time and the date. It doesn't have a due date. If you don't set a due date, they won't have a due date, which means it will never get marked as late. And I'm just going to hit assign. It means nothing. I'm going to put this in here. Practice. Okay. And this way you can see what the students will see on your end when you're assigning something. When they open up the assignment, there will be all the papers that you've added here, and then here along this side will actually be the copy that they can work off of. Now, if you're assigning a paper, a PowerPoint, anything like that, you can do the same thing. You can make a Google Slides and have it just titled, whatever the topic that you want them to make the Google Slides about, give them a slide for directions, and then assign it to each student and have them work off that slide. Trust me when I say it makes it a lot easier on your end as well as their end. They also, you can view their work as I assign this here. I can hit assign. It's going to come up in your stream automatically. And now let's say a student needs help. All right. I'm looking at this and I really, during one of my office hours, or I get an email from somebody and they're like, hey, I'm really struggling with my work. I can't get this to format correctly. I need help with number 5, whatever that might be. Once this actually softens. And try refreshing. I've never had that take that long. There we go. Now let's say again that student needs support. They're struggling. I can click the number that's been assigned, and Miss Aniceto is really struggling. She can't understand how to do something. She just needs my help, or she's like, hey, can you read this for me real quick? I just want to know if I'm doing it correctly. I can click Miss Aniceto's name. I can see that assignment and I can assist her in whatever way. This also means that if a student forgets to click turn in, but they have their assignment submitted this way, where you've created part of the assignment for them, you can still read it and grade it even if they forgot to click the turn in button. So a couple of the other things that you can see in here that you can do, if you create a question, it's like a short answer. So you can just type in a question. This is great for do nows, exit tickets, anything like that. And they just literally type in their response right into Google Classroom and it's done. Super fast, super easy. Like I said, great for do nows, exit tickets, just a quick check for understanding, something like that, where you can assign it that way. If you're trying to assign a test, this is when you're going to want to use the quiz assignment. And the quiz assignment is going to automatically create a Google form. All right. You can do locked mode on Chromebooks, but if they don't have a Chromebook, it's not going to let them log in. So for right now, I wouldn't hit locked on mode on Chromebooks. When you get back to school, if you want to continue to use Google Forms for like assessments, that's when I would definitely click lock mode, because that means that on a Chromebook, when they log in, they can't access any other web page while they're using this Google form. And again, you can set the due date, the topic, all the same types of things as before. But if you are not familiar with Google Forms, you just open it up. It creates a blank quiz. You can title it, give the directions. Um, if you've never used anything in Google before, you probably realize that it's very user friendly. They show you a lot of different things that you can do. Um, if you want to add section headers, that's when you do this. So if you want them to complete one part is multiple choice, second part is short answer, you want to put a section header in between them so that they can be doing all their multiple choice, then click to go to the next section and then complete all their short answer. If you want to import questions from that you've already created, I don't even use this function. This is for adding a question. This is if you want to add a title, a description, something like this before a set of questions. If you want to add an image, or if you want to add a video. So you can actually add a Google or a YouTube video, have them watch it, and then have them actually respond to a couple questions through Google Forms. This is going to be more for your formative, assessment. This is going to be for when you're like, okay, I need to give them a quiz, I need to give them a test. This is where you're going to want to use. It's very easy to copy and paste from a Google Doc or a Word or anything into these for your options and everything to make it go very fast. Once you've done that, you can click answer key, make it worth 1 point, 4 points, 0 points, whatever. Click the answer, hit done, and then it's going to grade it by like all automatically. The one thing you're going to want to do is click over this required portion, because that required is going to mean that they can't leave it blank. So there's no opting out. You just click required, they can't leave it blank. Again, if you've got questions about this, I'm at home, but you can call me, you can set up a Google Meet, you can do any of that stuff. You do not need to click the send, because now that it's in Classroom, it's automatically going to have like the send mode on it. So you don't need to send it to anybody. You don't got to send it to their forms or anything like that. The settings, you can do, I always collect email addresses unless I give them a spot to put in their name. All right. You can restrict it to just Albany Leadership High School for Girls. I always do that. Limit one response. They have to sign into Google. They're already going to have to do that to go to Classroom, but I always limit to one response. And then you can decide whether you want them to be able to edit after they submit it. I don't ever let them do that. See summary charts and text responses, I usually don't do that either. For presentation, you can show the progress bar, and this is great. You can shuffle the question order. So if you are, and it shuffles it by section, so like all the multiple choice in one section would get shuffled, the short answer would be shuffled in a different section. If you shuffle the question order, just be wary if it throws something off. It might every now and then throw something off. But if you had students taking this in the classroom or at home, you could click shuffle the question order so that they're all doing the same quiz. Yes, maybe at different times, but not really the same quiz. And then make this a quiz. If you want them, if you're doing a just standard multiple choice, you can just hit immediately after submission, just gives them their grade right away. If not, click later after manual review so you can actually take a look at it, put in the standards, all that stuff, and then you can do that. And then you can opt to take this away if you don't want them to see anything. I usually leave at least missed questions and the correct answers. But if they're testing at home, you may want to take out correct answers. You may just want to hit missed questions, see what they got wrong. Totally up to you again. And then if you want to change the color so it's not purple, you can. And then if you want to view it, so if you want to preview what it would look like for your students, you can just click the little eye. It'll open it up, show you what it looks like, just to make sure that it looks the way you want it to look. And then when you are ready to see this, this is automatically, if you open it in Classroom that way, it's going to get saved in your Drive Classroom folder. So if you go back to your Google Drive and you go into the folder that's labeled Classroom, which everyone gets automatically created once you create a Google Classroom, you go into that. Obviously, you have a lot less classes than me, but then you go to the class that you're looking for, and that's where the form will be saved. So if I can find, here's the long distance learning folder. I open it up, and it should say blank quiz right here. And then here's my template. Okay, so the templates are the ones that I've created for each student. So if I wanted to do something, I could edit the template, don't bother doing it. But if you also are looking for your students' work and it's not, for whatever reason, you cannot find it in your Google Classroom, which I've never had happen to me, you could go into here and pull it out. If you start working on something, and let's say you're working on, this is chapter 5 quiz, and you're like, I want to make sure that it's ready starting at, 7 in the morning, but I don't want to get up at 7 in the morning. You're going to click this little tab right here. You're going to hit schedule. You're going to pick the date. So let's say I wanted this to be ready at, 6 a.m. because some of my girls needed that early. And then you're just going to press schedule. And then it will automatically upload to Google Classroom at 6 a.m. on March 20th. And you don't have to be up at 6 a.m. to upload it. So for things that you want to have available starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, but you don't want to forget to get on the Chromebook and open it at 6, or you promised your girls that your video would be up starting at 4 in the afternoon, then that's what you can do. Other than that, you could just click assign, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. And then it's every time you X out of it, it's going to automatically save it as a draft. But if you decide you don't want it anymore, you just click delete. So I'm going to upload this video into this little Google Classroom right here. If you've got any questions, reach out to me, email, Google Meets, call me. I think most people have my phone number, and I'll run you through whatever I get stuck at. Other than that, have a wonderful distance learning experience and stay